Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Burn again, burn again, burn again, ABCs.
Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we discuss every Beatles song from 12 to Y. Wait, no, that's not right.
Beatles song.
I've heard that somewhere before. It sounds very familiar. Anyways, it's not going to come to me right now, so we'll continue on. We are the podcast that discusses every Bare Naked Lady song from 7 to Y. And tonight, I am joined by Jeff and Aaron.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, good to be here.
How are you? Good to be here.
It's wonderful to have you back, Aaron, after your short hiatus.
Yes, it's good to be back. I miss you.
And this week we have a special guest, someone that I have been waiting my whole podcasting career to have on. This person was one of 4 people who inspired this podcast to happen. And I know what you're wondering, Jeff. Maybe it's Katie Couric?
I was thinking that, yeah.
It's someone that's far more influential, at least in my life. He is one of 4 people who composed Alphabetical. He was one of the 2 people who continues to do, I'm guessing about 10 years on at this point, discussing the Star Wars movies 1 minute at a time. And Jeff, you thought we have a long trip? This gentleman has been on an epic journey with 2 major media juggernauts.
Wow.
So, of course, I am talking about the one and only Alex Robinson.
Woo!
Hey, good to have you, Alex.
Hello there. Thanks for having me.
Every
wonderful.
Star Wars movie 1 minute at a time, huh? Everyone?
Yes,
Wow.
we are currently in the closing stages of The Last Jedi after having, I guess this is our 9th one.
Well, now,
Sheesh.
are you doing Solo and Rogue One too, or are you gonna know that? Yeah.
Release order.
Okay.
Yeah. When we started this silly project, there was only 6 Star Wars movies, and we had no idea they were going to start cranking them out again. So,
Right. Yeah.
Disney said we need to make more work for Alex.
Yeah.
So,
And I remember you guys saying after you were finishing up the trilogy, you're like, we don't know if we'll go on to do the prequels. And here you guys are down to 2 movies.
yeah, we have Solo and Rise of Skywalker left, so it's going to be smooth sail in the next 2 years or so. That's for sure.
What about the Christmas special and the Ewok specials? Are they included, or?
We did a live show for the Christmas special, and we also did a live show for the first Ewok movie.
Okay,
and then
yeah.
the pandemic hit, so we're going to do the second one.
You
now
are
that,
thorough.
things
Yes.
That reminds me, Happy Life Day, everyone.
Oh, thanks. A little early, but thank you.
And
I will
then
accept it nonetheless.
And then they're hitting the Clone Wars.
Oh, nice. There you go.
People give us guff because we did skip over the Clone Wars movie, which came out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It was a theatrically
Yeah.
released film,
Mhm.
but we are. I don't know.
No,
I draw the line there for some reason.
I don't blame you.
They're gonna have you do the Mandalorian next. You better get ready.
Well, we do that
Oh,
as
is the way.
a special show called the Mindalorian, like Star Wars
okay.
Mindalorian,
Yeah.
and we
Wow,
Oh, nice.
you're a busy man.
we do those when the show's in season. We do it, So there are times during the when the Mandalorian is running at the same time we're doing a show, where we're doing recording 3
Wow.
episodes. It's
Yeah.
it gets a bit much.
Right.
But,
You must be happy that Alphabetical's done, considering all of that.
I do miss chatting with the fellas, but it certainly was a one less podcast to have to do. So.
Well, this week we're not going to discuss Beatles, as I mentioned before. We're going to be discussing...
Wait a minute. I was led here under false pretenses.
I was led to believe that we would be discussing They Might Be Giants.
No.
I thought we were finally starting that Proclaimers podcast we talked about, so...
No, we're doing a different conditional clause. We're not doing They Might Be Giants. This week we're discussing a song about maybes.
Oh, They May Be Giants.
Maybe you're right. Maybe we should go that way. But instead, we're going to discuss Maybe Katie.
Maybe Katie.
We are definitely going to discuss.
He said, as if he definitely didn't know this was happening. Sorry,
you
go
may be
ahead.
right. You may be right. I may be Katie.
Oh,
Billy
nice
Joel
pull.
podcast.
I've been doing Billy Joel all day today, so I'm just kind of stuck.
So, for those of you who have never heard this song before, here's a quick snippet.
What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about Katie? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about? What's so maybe about Katie?
I think that's the first time in like
It
4 weeks you
is-
remembered the snippet in the actual.
I know, I finally got it. I'm on tonight.
Snippet good.
Snippet good. Snippet real good.
This is a song by Jim Cregan, Stephen Page, and Ed Robertson. No one on this whole album actually had any individual credits, especially Hearn and Cregan. Every Hearn or Cregan song had Page and Robertson added on to the end of their writing
Just
credits
looking
on
over
this
their
album.
shoulders. What are you doing there? What's going on there, Kevin? I don't.
We don't quite trust you after Spider in our room. Spider in my room there, Jim. And Tyler actually wanted this song to lead off the album.
Okay.
Remind
But
the
Aaron-
audience what does lead off the album.
Well, before we do that, Aaron, because I don't want to give him a clue, what album is
I
it
know
on?
that one.
Well, obviously Stephen Page is still in the band at this point, but it kind of sounds like the later Page albums. So I'm going to go with Bare Naked Ladies Are Me.
Oh,
You were so close.
Men?
No, other way.
No.
Other way.
Go backwards. E2E.
Oh, everything. Okay,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting Everything to Everyone was a thing. I don't know why.
A lot of people do.
I know, seriously, like, not even like I'm not putting the album on blast or anything. I don't have any strong feelings either way about it. I just, for whatever reason, I always forget that in the lineup. Apologies.
Well, and
all around. I'm
I
horrible
don't think
to,
we've covered an E2E song
That's the thing.
in...
I haven't even heard the name of the album.
Have you
in
seen
a
My
long
Love
time.
was the last one, wasn't it?
Going back through and I'm looking...
I think it was Have You Seen
yeah,
My
I
Love?
think
Kinda
it was.
just totally slipped out of my mind. I have problems with object permanence.
Well, I'm glad that hopefully my internet doesn't cut out and you forget that I exist.
Where
sir.
did Tracy go? He's gone.
Maybe Tracy.
Who?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, no, you were really close.
It's interesting to me that album is I guess looked down upon, or,
I have
is
no
it
problem
not
with
considered? It's actually my favorite. It's my favorite Bare Naked Ladies album. So it's so funny that
It was the first time I saw him on tour. Was this tour? That was the. Yeah, that's
You can
fine.
ask these guys. The only album I look down upon is Silver Ball.
Which last week's song was a good song from Silverball, I think.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to weigh in on that.
You'll have to
Yeah.
listen to last week to see if I agree or disagree with Jeff on that one.
Okay.
I think last week's song was a good song.
Interesting.
You were mentioning, Alex, what the lead song was off from this. The lead song was Celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it wasn't one of the ones that they were actually in their pitch meeting talking about going with as the lead, but yeah, they decided to go with Celebrity first for some reason.
was it a single as well? I know this is not the shit. Now we're talking about
Off
Celebrity.
the top
but,
of my head, I
I
have to
don't
look that
believe
one up.
Celebrity was an album or
I don't
single,
think it
was it?
was. Another postcard. This one,
Right.
this
Testing,
song
1, 2, 3.
was a single, but it was the 5th one, and it was only a single in Canada.
Celebrity was the 4th single. So it was another postcard. Testing 1, 2, 3 for you, Celebrity, and then maybe Katie. Celebrity was a single in the UK only.
Okay. So that one must have been released about the same time that this was released in Canada only.
In Canada, right. Yeah, I think so.
They released 5 out of the 15 songs on this album as singles.
Well, they were coming off of the massive 1 week success, right? Wasn't that the album prior to this?
No,
before this would have been Falling for the
came before
First
this.
Time and Pinch Me.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of the album, was it the? Got it. Okay.
So I mean, I think the reason that this one's looked down on is it's different than Maroon, and I think that Stunt and Maroon were really kind of focused and driven toward America. And this one was not, like, the focus group was not America anymore at that point. And so I think that it didn't bring in the numbers that the other albums did for that reason.
It was more of a chimpanzee-directed album.
I was going to say, I think it hurt that Another Postcard was the first single off this
album.
album.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
I think, because, I mean, after you've done 1 week and Pinch Me and Falling and, drawing a blank, Off the Hook, or not Off the Hook, but Call and Answer. Once you've had that as your big American push to come up with the Chimpanzee Postcard song, probably might have taken people back a little bit.
This might have been a better one to release.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Why don't we discuss this song? Why don't we go into I want to go over the different versions of this song that we have available to us this week, because we have 4 different versions of this song available to listen to. There's the original version that's on E2E, as we discussed. There's the bathroom sessions, which, of course, is really kind of cool because you get Steven and Ed working together on the bathroom sessions. And I love the scatting that Steve does on the bathroom sessions during the bridge, and they both start laughing, and Steve starts dancing. Like, it's just very fun to watch them in that video. And then we have the Persuasions version.
What's so baby about? What's so baby about? What's so baby about? Katie. What's so baby about? What's so baby about? What's so baby about? Katie. What's the use in hesitating?
Where they remade it, and what I like about that one, first of all, love the banjo. And love the harmonies and the scatting that the Persuasions are adding in on that one. I feel good that Jim is taking over Steve's line, since this was a Jim-driven song, at least to some extent. So I was like, okay, good. Jim taking the lead. I'm okay with that. I don't like how they hold those last 2 notes on the song to finish the song off. I get why they're doing it, but I don't like it. And then the final version we have is the acoustic version that was on the deluxe disc, the double disc release of this album. And oh my goodness, I absolutely love the acoustic version of this. They have Jim playing the piano. He is just tinkling little bits and pieces throughout this. We've got Jim on not Jim, sorry. We have Kevin on the piano. We have Kevin on the accordion. I like that acoustic guitar, although I have to say I like the electric guitar on the original much better. They do some fun stuff with the channels, with the accordion in the right ear while the piano is in the left ear. So they have a whole bunch of different versions. So if you don't like the original, you can go out and listen to one of the other versions, and they're significantly different enough that you're probably going to have a favorite one over the other.
All right. Well, good show, everyone. Have a good night.
I was going to say, you took all my notes there, Tracy. There's not much more I can add to that.
Well, I was going to hand it over to you guys and ask you guys, like, what was your favorite version of this song?
E2E.
Yeah, I prefer the classic one, but of the variants, I guess I like the acoustic one better. I feel like they play around with the arrangement a bit more than the. I wish the Persuasions one had been more acoustic, so you could. I feel like the Persuasions were kind of drowned out with all the instruments.
Yeah, I agree. That was my issue with that one.
It starts off very vocal,
was...
but then once the electric instruments kick in, it kind of loses its uniqueness.
Yeah, I felt like there was more they could have done with all the vocals and the harmonies and the arrangement on that one than what they actually ended up going with. I didn't like it slowed down either as much. This is one where I maybe I'm so nostalgic about the OG E2E version. That is my favorite of the four. I do prefer the E2E version the best.
Yeah, I like the studio version best too. I think the Persuasions version is really good.
It is, yeah.
I like obviously the vocals, the acoustic. The acapella work at the beginning is really nice. The addition of the banjo gives it more of a country rock feel, provides a nice counterpoint to the guitar. Interestingly enough, I want to hear if you guys agree with me. It seemed like the vocal melody was less syncopated in the Persuasions version, much more straight, very much on the beat.
Yeah.
And it took away from it a little bit. And I think part of that is because they have a lot more people singing in unison.
And they had to keep the harms together.
Right. When you swing,
yeah. Right.
Yeah, it could get a little overlappy. Right. So I think that was born out of necessity. Right. But I think it also takes away from the fun a little bit of the tune. So I like it. There's a lot to like in the Persuasions version, but I agree. I think the studio version is the
when we get to lyrics too. I also think the studio version for me is the best. Although even though they do this in the other versions, but putting all together, I think it sounds better to have one and two people just back and forth on this, and without so much going on. This song is a conversation song, and we'll get to that when we get the lyrics in a way. And so having it just be feel like that straightforward conversation piece, I think works the best for it.
I agree.
Agreed.
Fourth.
Do you concur, Doctor?
Well, Aaron, would you like to give us a breakdown of the song?
Don't strain yourself.
Yes, I was going to say, I had a very, very late day at work today due to some very good news, but I was worried I wouldn't be able to break it down, and then I heard the song, and I said, okay, no problem. So Maybe Katie was recorded at 115 beats per minute, and I love, ironically, it starts off with someone saying, let me start the metronome.
I'll set the metronome.
So, that's right away. Okay. It is in the key of A major, and there are 3 chords in the entire
including my
song.
favorite chord. No.
D chord?
Is it a sus?
The A chord.
It's
the E chord. Oh, it's sus, all right. Jeff.
I am pretty sus. We talked last week about how much I love sus chords, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm a fan as well, and augmented chords too. Kind of interesting. But anyways, so it's basically 1-4-5. Let's get that out of the way. 1-4-5 in various configurations, right? You've got the tonic, the fourth, and the fifth. So you basically have A, D, and E, right? And it starts off with what I'm going to call the bridge changes, actually. This is an interesting song. I'm calling it the bridge. There's actually, it happens twice in the song, though, which there's some songs that have 2 bridges. But, so we have D, E, A, D, right? So you have 4, 5, 1, 4. And now, perhaps this is just my morbid streak showing, but I could not help but notice that the first 4 chords in the song spell the word dead.
Maybe Katie is actually dead.
Maybe that's just me.
Maybe.
Ooh, it's like the Sixth Sense of Bare Naked Ladies songs here.
Do the Bare Naked Ladies have a kind of Paul is Dead? Do they have like their own version of that where this is
maybe
trying to alert us that somebody actually passed away? And
Andy,
that's why you came on this episode.
The Ed that we know now is not the original Ed.
No,
Ed, please come on the show. We know you're listening.
We need proof that you're alive.
But yeah, so anyways,
from Blues had to prove it. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There you go. Do it. Ask me anything. But no. So we have DEAD, which is the what I'm going to call the bridge changes. Then it actually goes to the chorus first, which is A D E. So very simple 1-4-5. And then the verse is also 1-4-5. So you have 1-4-5, 1-4-5, but then the bridge section turns around 4-5-1-4 or 4-5-1. So you have your intro, bridge changes, which is our C, the chorus, which is our B section, What's So Maybe About Katie. Then we have verse 1, then the chorus, the bridge, the chorus again. Ooh, everybody okay? Okay. The chorus again, which is your B section, verse 2, A, bridge, C, and then 2 iterations of the chorus, so B, B. So we have C, B, A, B, C, B, A, C, B, B. So a very kind of non-traditional form, even though the song is very simple and only has 3 chords. The form, they're kind of played with that a little bit. Overall, I really like it. It's an upbeat kind of pop rock. It's it's kind of right in the wheelhouse, especially of like mid to later day BNL. Towards the end of the Page era. It's very listenable. It's very catchy, and it's got that great hook. What's So Maybe About Katie? So yeah, I like it. It's it's not game changing, but it's like it's very very listenable, and it's very very it's a nice song. I like it. That's it for me.
So my favorite chord in that version is not in it then, but the version I found, which now I'm still seeing it's capo on the 2nd fret, so maybe that changed it, but it was G, C at 9, D. And C at 9 is my favorite chord, so that's why I was
Yeah, I've always been a fan of either add 9s or I'm a big fan of minor 9 chords.
Of course you are. Yes.
Aaron likes
Here's
minor
my shock
chords.
face.
Well, Aaron, you brought it up. I want to come and bring it back around and ask, does anyone know where that I'll Set the Metronome comes from?
It comes from somewhere?
It does.
I assumed it was somebody in the studio.
No, it was not.
No, it sounds like it's from an old movie or something. It sounds like it's from The Miracle Worker.
It is from an old
hilarious
audio book.
Audiobook, okay.
It is actually from, and I'm guessing that it's one of the boys who grew up listening to this. It's from Sparky's Magic Piano, which was by Henry Blair.
Never heard of that in my life.
And it's from 1947, and it's it's an audio program about a young child who hates practicing the piano. And so the piano decides to teach him that he should love playing the piano. So he tells the boy, you hit the key, you hit the buttons, and I will make it sound beautiful. I will make it Mozart. I will play whatever you want me to play. All you got to do is just hit the keys, and I will just make the right sounds come out no matter what, to make him fall in love with music. And in 1987, they actually did an animated version of this.
Sounds like it deserved a remake.
And it was with Tony Curtis?
Yeah,
try it again. Tony Curtis, Cloris Leachman, and Vincent Price.
This isn't real. None of this is real.
It sounds fake. I mean, it's sus. Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds really weird, but honestly, I used to watch the Phantom Tollbooth when I was a kid, so
I was laughing the whole time, and I'm going to get obscure, but all the MST fans in the room or in the audience are having Mr. B natural flashbacks right now.
Oh my goodness!
It's one of those. It's one of those things in trivia I like to bring up because it's one of the few times they actually take a piece and sample a piece of audio from something in their past and throw it into a song.
Vincent Price, huh?
He played the metronome.
I was going to do a Vincent. I was going to do a Vincent Price impression, but then I realized that what I was about to do was Peter Lorre.
Yeah, you never want to make that mistake.
Yes.
No. Not quite the same.
Not at all.
We are in some deep territory at this point.
I don't know how to bring us back around from that.
Like, the Tarantino
Well, speaking of metronomes, interesting that they decided to bring something in that made it very unmetronomy. They have the hand claps in this song.
It's true.
In the bridge.
Oh,
That's one of the things about this song.
They start on Ed's part before that, but yeah.
Right. Well, and that's the interesting thing. Like, so the part that's Ed's part is what I keep referring to in my notes as the bridge. So I have down chorus, verses, and then bridges, because I had to find some way of trying to differentiate between Ed's part and Steven's part.
That makes sense. Sense.
I'm counting the do you know everyone you ever swore you'd love, and that's what I'm counting as the bridge, just because it actually does change up.
So 2 vocal bridges and 1 instrumental bridge is how
it becomes the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I like the fact that, and it's interesting because they do something with this song that's really cool, and I want to break it down a little bit more in that they do, not just do they have different voices in different parts of the song, but they also have different sounds within different parts of this song. They bring in different instruments depending on who is singing and what they're doing. Yeah, I made a note of that
too. It's like clashes.
It's almost very Peter and the Wolf.
That must have been another record you listened to for music. Music education.
That was my music teacher. He made me listen to that a lot. Obviously, Jeff as well.
Had that record.
Yep. Kid. I had the Weird Al Yankovic version. Surprise!
Oh, nice. Yeah. Now it's my turn.
Yeah,
right. Aaron, what would you call the beginning of this song after the metronome? Like, I'll start the metronome piece. Like, what? I wrote down that it's like a weird marimba like sound on the metronome and organ that kind of leads us in. Like, I don't know what to call that instrumental lead in. That it's just weird. It's different than the whole rest of the song.
Let me listen to it again really quickly.
It's Kevin playing the organ, but
did you say marimba? I don't remember that.
It's just this. I had to find a name, and I'm like, I'm not a music guy, but I had to find some way of like it's different than the whole rest of the song.
It's an organ, and it's like it's detuned, right? So they've got this filter on it where it's like slightly pitching it a few cents down and then up. It's almost It's very, very, very Beatlesy, very kind of Magical Mystery Tour era, like kind of got a Strawberry Fields vibe from it. Although that was a Mellotron, but it's got that kind of quality to it because it's got almost like the Mellotron. Okay, really quickly, the Mellotron uses tape loops, so it's actually got magnetic tape, and you push the key down, and it just rolls the tape past the playhead. And so it can go on and on forever because it's on a loop. But it has, because it's actually analog, it's not a digital synthesizer. It's using a physical medium. It's using tape. It can be prone to getting kind of poppy and degrading a little bit. And if the motor's not running perfectly, it can go a little more slowly than it's supposed to, so it can go out of pitch. So sometimes mellotrons are used, and maybe people intentionally kind of mess with them to make an intentionally creepy sound or whatnot. But that's kind of the feel I was getting for this. Where it reminded me. Okay, so I'm going way out on a limb here, but you guys know it. I do video game streaming. So there's a game called Earthbound back in 1990s that I'm a huge fan of. It had amazing music.
Yeah, that was Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah, and he used a lot of stuff like that. And it was kind of revolutionary for the time, actually, what they accomplished with the 16-bit sound chip. But had a lot of strange, kind of trippy stuff like that.
Thank you for answering that.
You're welcome. I couldn't tell you exactly what that was, but it's some kind of organ and it's been detuned or a filter's been applied or whatnot.
So then we get, as you were mentioning, with the chorus. The chorus has, for musical backup, they all have drum, but the chorus has this vibraphone mixed with electric guitar. At first, I actually thought it was like a theremin that he was playing, but it's not. It's a vibraphone, according to the liner notes. And then during the bridges, we get that feedback going into the bridges, or just the first one actually. But in the verses, they're using acoustic guitar or a mandolin, or it might be a banjo. It might be Ron Anello on the banjo, The problem with this album is they list all of the instruments in one big package and they don't separate it out by song. So I have to guess, like, okay, I think that sounds more of a mandolin. That sounds more like a banjo. I would guess that this is mandolin on this one, but that's just me guessing. But then it's not there for the other parts. Like, it's only there during the verses when Steve's singing.
You're going to have to edit this out. Give me a second. I didn't know you were going to grill me on the specific instruments, so hold on one second.
Oh, I wasn't actually trying to grill you on it. I was just throwing out there my thoughts. Well, while we're waiting on Aaron, what strikes you, Alex, about this song musically?
I don't know. It's got a good hook. It bugs me a little bit that they rhyme maybe and Katie. That always irks me when people do almost rhyme, especially the fact that it's the title. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I think, and I like the gimmick of them. It seems like one person is, hesitating, and the other person is. I can't tell if the other person is being supportive or because it. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys get into the lyrics and stuff?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. We'll guide into the lyrics.
Tracy, I think I have no idea, but I suspect what you were hearing might have been a dobro, which is not a banjo, but not quite a guitar.
Okay. I will say then that they did not. I'm going to believe you and say they did not adequately put that into the liner notes then, because there's no dobro.
I could see them using a dobro before a mandolin for a song like this, but it could certainly be a mandolin. I agree that it doesn't exactly sound like a banjo. They did use a banjo in the other version, most certainly, but this is either a banjo and just they're playing it interestingly, or using a specific, maybe a different pickup, or they're filtering it. Or it could be a guitar, another guitar, but I think it might be a dobro.
Oh, they're made by Epiphone.
Yeah, they're cool. They're interesting.
Look it up. Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people play them.
Kevin has used the dobro on another song. Matter of fact, I mean, Ed even references it in 4 seconds.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of times it's played with a slide, but not always.
I'd like to think that at some point during a band rehearsal, someone shouts out, "Get the dobro, mofo!"
Get the
I need to believe that in my life now. Sorry. Nice. I think you all know what the rating system is going to be now.
All right, so before we get over the lyrics too much, I do want to point out 2 other really interesting things that are in this musically. Jim's echoes at the end. I love that Jim is in here. He's one of the writers of this song.
You're talking about those high ones, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's really quiet.
Yeah,
and really slow.
I love those.
So it's a nice little addition to the end of the song. And I also like how the music cuts out at the end. It's just the drums at the end and keeping the song going, and the vocals, and that's it.
Yeah, it was a good nice little exit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exit music.
But let's talk about what the song's about. This is the part I love getting into. So I want to hear you guys and your theories on what this song is about and the structure. I'll let you lead us off, Alex. You were talking a little bit about it. Why don't we go with you first?
Well, my interpretation of the song is that it's one guy trying to decide why he doesn't like a woman as much as he should, and he's basically, like, on paper she's good, but I don't know. And then, like, I don't think it's literally a conversation between 2 people so much as like a Fight Club kind of thing, where he's having this conversation with himself.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm with you.
I 100% agree.
The angel and the devil.
He's going back and forth. Yeah, or he's doing the pros and cons.
But it's weird because it's not like the person. It's not like the other. I don't know which guy is singing which parts, but the bridges, I guess we've been calling them. It's not like the bridge person is arguing conclusively, like, oh, you should go out with them. Even the bridge person seems kind of like ambivalent about the whole thing. So
it's really funny you point that out because I got that feeling. It's almost like this person has already decided it's not worth the hassle, and we'll discuss what they are considering a hassle a little later. And it's more. It's not so much. See, this is interesting because I wouldn't have guessed. Maybe I don't know who did the lyrics. Like you were saying, it was a Cregan song, or I guess was it Cregan Page or?
Well, Cregan Robertson Page,
Okay.
but they didn't.
I
they
wonder.
didn't separate it out.
It's the lyrics seemed fairly Page-esque to me, in as much as it sounds less like someone deciding whether or not they should continue this. It's more like arguing, well, I should stop this, and then the other person, instead of saying, no, you should keep going, is saying, yeah, you're kind of a jerk. Just my thoughts.
That's an interesting take on it. I didn't get that read.
Well, we'll get to we'll get to my theory on that, exactly why. There's a couple lines I want to talk about in a little bit, but you guys go ahead and continue on. I just want to hear everyone else's thoughts.
Actually, go ahead. I want to hear this theory.
Well, I think the key lyric here is she's got a daughter and you're just not coping, which pretty much reveals that what's so maybe about Katie is that she is a single mother, and I found this very sad. And but then again, the line immediately before it, "Forever's not so long, stop moping," definitely reveals a sort of general hesitation towards commitment. Yeah. So that amplified by a child the narrator may or may not be ready to support or parent would definitely be a cause for maybe.
But I agree with the sadness, because what comes before that is the fact that there shouldn't be any ambivalence, because she has her arms wide open. She clearly wants to be with you, and she's everything that you've been hoping for. So she's everything you've ever wanted, but you're still letting these things get in the way, which I think adds to the kind of the sadness factor that you're really gonna toss this, that kind of thing. But
there's a lot of self-sabotage, I think.
Like, oh, do I really want to commit?
I don't.
And I like that Steven is singing those parts where he is almost in some ways being a jerk to the other side of the conscience that's sitting there. Like, just because her youth is fading doesn't mean she's not worth dating. Like, he's a little bit mean to this other side of him.
Well, I took that, it's that line I see as that section, the bridge guy seems into them dating. Because it says, can't you see she's waiting? Why are you hesitating? She's worth dating. But then the other ones, he's kind of like, you know what? It's not for you.
Well, that's why I have them separated out, because I get the feeling like Steven is pro this person dating the mom, and Ed is kind of on the other side of this, being like, whether it's a consciousness or it's friends kind of talking to him. I always took it as like the devil angel type thing, the two split consciousness type of thing. But that the Ed part is like, yeah, you don't want to date her. All in or all out, I recommend all out.
Yeah. Sorry, Katie.
Which is so funny to have Ed singing that part.
Yeah, but I don't think the Ed part is completely that, because he does say, just take it slow. So there is a little bit of, like, you just take it slow, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Where I get confused with the Ed part, maybe someone can explain this to me, is I always saw the second Ed part as, I guess you can see it in two ways, because do you know everyone you ever swore you'd love for life? I don't know them anymore. I know their names. Could be, one is the guy is hung up on the girl because she does have a daughter, and because there are people in the past, there's obviously someone in her past that she was in a relationship with, and that's what's bothering him. And so Ed's like, do you know everyone that you like? Are you still hung up on everyone in your past too? And I feel like Ed is almost kind of like trying to be the voice of reason in that one. For a long time, I always thought this was two guys basically talking to a third friend.
That section does seem like it's like responding within its own bridge. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
see, to me, I always read that bridge in the other way, because you were kind of saying that there's two ways to read it. I've always read that second bridge in the way of the Ed character being like, you know what? You can love a whole bunch of people. Like, he's kind of arguing, don't stick around with this person. She's got a kid. Like, you don't want to make that kind of commitment. And he's kind of like, you know what? Your love is going to fade. Your love is going to come and go. You don't remember everyone in your life that you used to say you loved and you won't anymore. Like, you can't be with this mother.
Right. I can see that too, because it does go in line with Ed's previous line. Because Ed's previous line does feel like it's pretty much shutting it all down. If you've got any doubts at all, it's not worth it. Which it conflicts its own line, because up above it goes, I don't know what the fuss is all about. Just take it slow makes it sound like, hey, just take it easy. Go into this, with cautiously, and then within a beat, he's already saying, but if you've got a doubt, it's not worth it. We know that they have doubts. That's what the whole song's about. It's maybe, Katie. So we know there's doubts. So yeah.
Well, I think that he's trying to fight off the Steve part, which beforehand he's like, she's worth dating, and then he's like, I don't know about that. Just take it slow. Like, don't jump into this. Like, and then he later says, like, you feel strong feelings for this person, but that doesn't go on.
It just feels
forever.
reversed to me. I feel like the lines that Ed are singing would be the lines that Steve would be saying, and normally I do feel like their vocals are reversed on this. That said, I do love their parts in this. I think Steve sounds really good in his parts, and I think Ed sounds really good in his parts. They do really mesh well together. I really love the sound of this song. And the back and forth and the banter they have, and then the harms and everything. But like you said, I do like, too, that the positive voice, the Steve voice, is the acoustic guitar or the dobro, or no, that was the beginning. But it's just the acoustic guitar and mellow. And then when Ed comes in, you're getting some of those jarring fuzz guitars and everything, too. So it is kind of like the devil comes back in, but, but anyway, she's everything you ever wanted, but,
Unless it's his daughter.
Oh. Wait, what?
Wait a minute.
Mind blown.
Oh.
Are you guys researching it?
Now I'm reading Ed's lines now, and I'm going, oh wow.
Well, he said he's a jerk, so
Yeah.
that would certainly make him much more jerky.
Ladies have not been opposed to writing about awful boyfriends. So I mean, or partners. So I can.
So are you thinking that this is like the mother's daughter's ex, like the father of the daughter talking to him?
I think it's more of a father's cousin, sister's, uncle's, nephew's
But what does that make us?
Absolutely nothing.
I'm just wondering if it's like the baby daddy talking to the new boyfriend and trying to talk him out of it.
I thought it was the baby daddy trying to talk himself out of
that
his daughter.
is an interesting take right there. That's wow.
Yeah, that's even darker.
That is dark. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a daughter. Sounds like, okay, this is with someone else, but yeah, if it's someone trying to distance themselves from their responsibility, like, oh, she has a daughter, not we.
And I can see that too. I was going to say, I mean, lyrically, if you wanted to sell the point that it was his daughter, you'd say, we have a daughter, I would think. But that said.
Well, then the next part after that is you're just not coping.
Right.
Like, he even admits it, like, you're not coping.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about the other children he's abandoned. Do you know everyone you've ever sworn you loved for life? I don't know them anymore.
Wow.
This totally puts an entirely new spin on the song for me.
Oh, man. So
I will never hear this song the
this guy
same
is
ever
just spreading
again.
his seed all over Toronto.
Dear heavens.
Dozens and dozens of children he doesn't recognize as his own.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's like, I got postcards to send out. I'm torturing this one guy. I can't spend time talking to you.
I got things to
Concept
do.
album.
I'm the Wizard of
I gotta
Magic.
go
Land.
shopping.
Maybe you've heard of me. I am a celebrity.
I need to go buy some. I need to get out there and buy some aluminum.
Oh,
Okay, guys, I'm pulling out I'm waving the flag here, please.
Now the reason he's going to have the aluminum is because he's fighting the war on drugs.
I was gonna do that one next.
That's probably why he got so sleepy while he was driving. But that's.
I'm sorry, Katie. I can't hear you. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
All right. I'm gonna just jump out of the car here now, guys. I'll see you in 1 week.
Dear heavens.
Oh, but
Well, we gotta keep going, or else this episode's gonna end up unfinished.
the guy did look. By the way, I do have to add one thing. The guy did really look back years later, and he was asking, "Have you seen my love? Have you seen my little girl?" See, there it is. It explains little girl. It all came full circle. We now know what little girl means.
I'm just picturing Jeff like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with this
the big board.
beautiful mind wall behind him. Yeah.
All of the
all
little
connected.
lines, all
Yeah.
hitched up.
Yeah.
That's what Jeff's brain
It does.
looks like.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Yeah,
I don't know how to get us back on track from
I fooled
think it's
you. I don't
possible.
have a brain.
I have a tiny mechanical monkey inside
yeah.
of my head that
My
just
brain.
moves the gears.
My brain is actually just a series of Star Wars references. That's all.
Oh, you too.
Yeah.
That's not a brain. It's a space station.
Oh,
No, it's a trap.
Nicely done. Oh.
It's true.
Oh, that's a trap. I can't get stuck. I'm stuck in this loop, and I can't
Right.
get us out of here. So I'm going to bring us over to covers.
Loop.
There is a cover
Cupboards.
of this song. Cupboards, yes.
Old Mother
There's a
Hubbard.
cupboard of this
Old
song.
Mother Hubbard wrote her a cover.
There's a cover of this song. Done by Cornbread Red. It is a bluegrass cover.
What's the maybe about? What's the maybe about? What's the maybe about? Katie. What's the maybe about? What's the maybe about? What's the maybe about? Katie.
A lot more banjo, a lot more country feel. Also much faster than this song because of the banjo strumming. But if you like bluegrass, go on and listen to the bluegrass version of this. Like, this is a really cool cover.
I feel like we've used the phrase, if you like bluegrass, check out this bluegrass cover before. We've been there.
Yes, because the Cornbread Red did the whole
Yeah,
did
right.
their whole
That's
album
what it was.
of,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
bare naked covers.
That's right.
So I'm only gonna have to say it like
My
10 more
gosh,
times.
Tracy, we've done a lot of these.
Hey, dude,
That's
you came
true.
in halfway through. You don't even know the half of it.
I don't know the half of it. No, I know a little more than half because of After Dark, but sorry.
That's true. That's true. Aaron, however, has suffered through all of
Except
it.
for the last 4 weeks, but
I've been binging The Good Place recently. I've been wondering if this is my eternal reward.
I would definitely say it is like the Good Place reward.
This is the frozen yogurt that I get for eternity.
Well, Jeff, I'm going to hand it over to you. Would you like to explain our rating
I did have
system
one more
to our
thing.
guest?
I did. There is a trouble with Jeff
okay.
tonight, and it's actually I have to dispute the guest, which is something I normally don't do. As a lyricist, as someone who is a rhyme guy, like I like what you said about the half rhymes because I'm not a half rhyme fan. I do really like the song a lot. I actually do like for once. I'm normally not a half rhyme guy. I do like the chorus in this because I do think Katie, when it's sung or when it's spoken or when it flows, has a D sound. So I do like, or the Katie maybe. I in this case for some reason it does flow for me. So I have to say I do like the maybe Katie rhyme on this one. When normally I wouldn't.
I like it because it gives me the chance to say assonance in conversation.
You are really an assonance.
Oh yeah, I've been told.
Yes.
I'm quite asinine.
But yes, normally I would 100% agree with you, Alex. I don't like half rhymes, but for some reason it in this one it works for me. But
I will respect your decision. It sounds like you really thought it through, so you are free to continue to like it.
overthink it through. But
Well, can anyone come up with a better female name rhyme with maybe?
Maybe from Arrested Development.
Okay, yeah, but that wasn't out yet at the point of this song.
There is a song called Maybe Baby, right?
yeah.
Sadie?
See, No,
Yeah.
Sadie would still be a half rhyme though with the B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but D is
would
closer to
be
B
a
than
rhyme.
T.
Because they don't hit the T, so it's not KT, which would really be it. But
Yeah, they do the American
Katie,
version.
Katie, yeah,
KD.
maybe Katie.
Oh,
Maybe Katie.
Maybe
So
originally
when
this
you're
was about
when
KD
you're saying
Lang.
maybe Katie, it does. Katie.
And they're like, no, it's too specific.
What's so maybe about Katie Lang?
No.
Didn't she do something with them?
Yeah.
She did actually tour
Yeah.
with them a few years
Yeah,
back.
I thought I heard about that.
Haven't all Canadian
I like Katie Lang.
haven't all Canadians toured with another Canadian at one point? Like
It's in the
I believe it
contract.
is, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's contractually obligated.
At some
Law of averages.
just brace yourself. At some point, you're touring with Anne Murray. It's the way it is. It's Celine Dion.
No, these guys could never tour with Anne Murray. That would not be allowed. We'd have a whole straw hat thing going on. That's not okay.
Brian Boitano, on the other hand, completely,
Right. Yeah.
completely
Right.
imbalanced.
Right. Yes.
Brian.
Yeah. I think there's probably actually a lawsuit out preventing them from touring with Anne Murray after the song Straw Hat.
Really? What is this story? I don't know this.
Oh yeah, I think there's a protection
Really?
order
I
out.
didn't know that.
No,
Huh. Wow.
I'm being
Wow.
facetious, but
Jeez.
You heard it here first, folks.
And Anne Murray, we know
And
you
only
listen.
here.
Please come on the show.
Yeah,
Yes.
please come on the
Yes.
show, Ann.
oh, I will try to get Anne Murray on the show, especially for Straw Hat. We will come back to that,
Okay.
or at least her daughter, because her daughter's the reason that they showed on the Anne Murray show. So
I don't know this story you're talking about.
I'm holding
Okay,
on to
all
the
right,
story.
all right.
We'll come back to the story.
Till Straw
We're
Hat.
still
Till
in
Straw
the
Hat.
M's. That's an S.
So
That's
I
a
gotta wait
Straw
like
Hat.
4 years to hear the story. All right. Cool, bro.
Exactly.
So gonna be worth it.
It better
So
be
gonna
now,
be
yeah.
worth it.
2 years is gonna go by. I'm like, any day now, I'm gonna hear the Straw Hat Anne Murray story.
It is totally worth it.
Gonna lose sleep over this for the next 4 years.
Yes, you will.
Jeez. Our rating system. I'm sorry. I just went through
Yeah,
puberty.
yes.
I just went through puberty there for a second. Anyway, our rating system.
Yoinks, guys!
Our rating system is we do it on a scale of 0 to 5, of which I arbitrarily pick some rating scale based on something we've talked about throughout the episode that I think is funny or unique or just the first thing I thought of when the time comes, because I haven't really thought about it until he says, Jeff, what's our rating scale? But we do it's on 0 to 5. We can do decimals. So basically we're going 0 to 5. How do you rate this? So 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 are all eligible for scoring. The way would be
Fives are like on your island playlist.
I
Zeros
would never want to
are
hear
like
this song
you wish,
again, and yeah,
I wish Thanos had snapped
Right.
this song.
yeah. I mean, it would have come back in 5 years anyway, but
Now, can you guys explain this to me? 0 means you don't
Zero
like the
means
song.
you
Yeah,
don't.
5
zero
means
is-
you really
Five,
like
yes,
the
you
song.
got it.
Okay.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
I'm getting the hang of it.
And our cutoff, the one I find helpful is we are, at the end of all of this, going to make like a Spotify playlist for each of us of all of the songs that are 4 and above that we consider like best of. So anywhere between 4 and 5 is like on your playlist. 5 is like, this is perfection. This is a great example of classic BNL and something you would show someone to try and get them.
Guys, I think we forgot we're talking to a Star Wars guy. We'll help him out here. 0 is Phantom Menace, and 5 is Empire Strikes Back. So does that
Episode 5.
episode 5?
Yeah, okay. I did know that. So, all right. I think I'm ready.
And I will warn you, I tend to like to go with the guest first. So now this is going to be a scale. I already warned you: 0 to 5 dobros, because I've never heard of a dobro before, and now that I know it's an Epiphone instrument, I just love it. So 0 to 5 dobros, and Alex, you will be the first to go, and you can explain a little bit too, like why you picked that rating.
Okay, I wish I had my cards. I could hold up the
Yes.
score, but I will just go ahead and say I'm going to give it a solid 4.
Solid 4.
4.0.
4.0 dobros.
I think it's. I like the song. I deducted 0.10 because of the not rhyming thing. I get deducted another 0.10 because of the ambiguity as to whether or not how we're supposed to feel about the narrator. Although I don't know, maybe that's good. Maybe that ambiguousness is what ambiguity, I believe, is the word I'm looking for. Maybe that's what makes the song work. But and I also don't like the metronome bit at the beginning because it's very quiet, and when I play the song, I press play, and I don't go, is it playing? Is it?
Oh no! And then
turn it up, and then it gets loud.
Yeah.
So
then you go deaf.
thumbs down for me. So, but still, overall, I like the song. 4 stars. 4 Dobros. Apologies.
Hey, Aaron, I'm curious.
See, I like it. I don't think I love it. I like it though. It's more than just not hating it. I definitely like it. I mean,
Do you want some more of it?
Yeah, a lot of our audience is
You're
going to get
maybe
some
about
raw
it.
reference.
I quit the podcast. This will be my last episode. No,
Tim McGraw is our next series of podcast.
I'm going to give it. It's almost there. It's almost playlist.
Maybe
playlist.
probably.
It's just. I don't know. It's missing something in my opinion, and I'm not even sure what it is. And I guess that's the problem. I don't want to condemn it. It's not like, oh man, just doesn't have it. But there's some. I feel like if there was one extra, I don't know. Maybe if there. I feel like the 2 bridges.
It sounds like you're maybe about the
I am
song.
pretty maybe. It's an appropriately named song.
If you have any doubts, it's not worth it.
I feel like tuck and roll. Okay. No, I feel like the 2 bridges are really more like 2 alternate choruses or 2 like a second half of a chorus, and there really is no actual bridge. If there was a bridge with a key change or a bridge where it went outside the 1-4-5 structure, maybe I'm nitpicking here. Maybe I'm being an elitist a-hole, but I feel like there was something that could have made it just a little bit more like a tonal shift would have made it kind of more satisfying for me. Still very good. I would still definitely not like change. If it came on Spotify, I wouldn't skip it. So I'm going to give maybe Katie a very solid 3.85 Dobros out of 5.
All right, I'll go. I have changed my score 7 times tonight.
I like when that happens. You discuss it and you learn more.
I came into it going high because, like I said, I got into Bare Naked Ladies right when this album came out. Maroon was my first B&L album, but then it was this one second, and I saw them for the Peep Show tour where they did all the EDE songs. So this song was nostalgic for me, and I remember cranking this up and playing it all the time. Like, there was something about this I loved, and I played this all the time. Discussing it, I went back and forth, or listening to it a couple times prior to the show. I was like, do I like it as much as I thought I did? And I'm kind of went back and forth on it. There's a lot of stuff I like about the song. I think Steve and Ed sound great on it. I like the diversity in the parts. I do like the message that someone is, thinking about these things. I would hope that the person comes to the decision that's, a solid one. Like, if you meet someone that is everything you've ever hoped for and they have a daughter, you can make it work. You can still make that work. Overthinking because of my own personal life stuff, because my wife, we got married when I had 4 kids. So that was someone coming in and to still a relationship with that situation. So, I do take that from a personal level. I hear these kind of things and I'm like, yeah. But as a song, as a song and how it feels and everything, I still really like this song. I think I would still put it on my playlist. We always say 4 to 5 is a playlist. Is it the top tier B&L song? No, it doesn't have those elements I like, but I'm still going to go a little bit higher, and I'm going to give it a 4.1 Dobro.
Very nice.
Nice. Aaron, would you put that in there?
Sure, I can do that right now.
Because I'm going to pull up Stefan's review since he wasn't able to make it tonight. Give me 1 second. Stefan said, "What's so maybe about maybe Katie? Almost everything. Very simple song with a memorable and, dare I say, catchy lyrics and music. Sounds almost Gordon era. I would like the bathroom version at least a 2.5. A regular version better at a 3, and then the Persuasions version at top with a 3.5. We have to rate it based on the original, so we need to put Stefan in for a 3.
Hey, I'm not
There
drinking
you
the
are, not
Haterade
drinking the
tonight.
Haterade
Nice.
tonight.
Okay.
Tracy.
Send your complaints to Stefan, care of Bare Naked ABCs. By the way, Tracy, I have a request. The next time that Stefan is out and you have to read his thoughts, could you please do it in the voice of either Statler or Waldorf?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now I have to do that every time.
3.0.
Please,
It's a requirement.
please.
It's a horrible Statler and Waldorf. I apologize.
But you do realize that means when you're out and we have your reviews, we have to go with the other one.
Yeah.
I thought you would do it as Christopher Walken. I gave it a
I would have
3.85.
rated it higher, but I needed more cowbell.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe that's the element that was
You
missing
needed
for
cowbell?
me, Jen.
Yeah.
Maybe the cowbell would have
Cowbell.
kicked it just up into the 4 range.
All right, I'm going to give mine now then. I agree with Alex with almost everything that you said. I don't like the metronome piece at the beginning. And I don't like how I do especially the first time I listened to this week, I did raise the level and volume on the song, and then it kicked in. I don't think my car speakers are very happy with me right now. I like a lot of things about this song. I've gone over most of them tonight, but is it on the top of my list? No. I have a hard time putting this on my island playlist, but then again, there is a lot of nostalgia. I remember being really loving this album, and especially this song being the second on the album. I would never skip it. When it came out, this was one of the songs I really enjoyed, and it's catchy and it's fun. And I I really like the dark version that we talked about tonight.
Well, she was dead earlier. Remember that?
4. That's true.
So
yeah.
Katie's,
we took the whole gamut here. So I give it a 4.
Wow.
Smart fella. He's right.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of appearances for people to look at tonight. I was able to find Sparky's Magic Piano, the animated version
We're
online.
sorry about that,
So
I'm sure.
Hey, it's Vincent
True.
Price.
Yeah,
How
that's
often
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Also, I wanted to bring up that this week they released a video called My Junos Moment, where Stephen Page talks about his experience of receiving the Junos and getting up on stage with the other band members. It was really fun to watch him talking about that and him reminiscing about that time. So that was pretty cool. And so I'll also put that in there for people to go and watch. But Alex, would you like to plug anything of yours or if people want to see what you have influenced, should they just listen to every musical podcast ever?
Yes, people should, if they want to check me out, they should listen to every other podcast in the world. You'll get a good
I'm glad
sense
you
of
can
who I
finally
am.
complete everything in Beyond Hours, so now you're in literally every
Now you're
podcast.
everything to everyone.
Yes.
Oh! Go.
Yeah, I do a podcast called Star Wars Minute where we go through all the Beatles movies. We haven't done that
I'll edit that out.
Yeah, we go through all the Star Wars.
That's your next project. After Star Wars Minute's done, you got to do the Beatles Minute and do all the.
I always kind of felt like George Harrison was the Jar Jar of the group.
Oh, hey now, come on.
That would be Ringo.
I love
Come
George
on.
Harrison. I love.
Pete Best is the Jar
That's
Jar of the
true.
group, clearly.
That's right. There we go. I like that. Much better.
But yeah, I do a podcast called the Star Wars Minute where we talk about the Star Wars movies in excruciating detail. And as you mentioned earlier, I used to do a podcast called Alphabetical, where we did what you guys are doing for Bare Naked Ladies, but about a little obscure group called the Beatles. So people can check that out wherever you find podcasts. Yeah, they're out of England, I believe. They got big
Four
things ahead of them.
strapping lads from Liverpool, I believe.
Yes, guitar groups are on their way out, but we think they can somehow.
All right, cool.
So we'll see what happens.
And I don't joke when I say that this podcast was inspired by Alphabetical, in that listening to you guys talk about every Beatles song, and then the other piece was you guys, I grew up on the Beatles, listening to the Beatles all the time, and when you guys started to go through the list, I was like, I've never heard this song before. Wow. Or you guys would hit something that was really deep, and I was like, oh my goodness. Each week you inspired me to go out and listen to these songs and like just listen to you discuss them afterwards. But some of them having never heard them before, I found Beatles songs that I fell in love with that I never knew existed. And so then I was like, now I got to listen to the same thing for BNL, and that it didn't exist. And I was like, okay, well, I will make that happen.
I'm glad we could shine the light and get some people interested in listening to the Beatles. I feel like they've been underrepresented in the history of pop culture, so I'm glad we could do our part too.
I heard they were bigger than Jesus.
Spread the positivity. taller than Jesus. But
I can't believe that all you need is love song flew under my radar all these years. I was like, what?
Things slip by.
You guys can find us on Twitter and Facebook under Bare Naked ABCs. Maybe if you disagree with us about everything we said tonight, I mean, we can argue until our throats are sore. Maybe I forgot something important, and maybe you'll forgive all the things I forgot.
Oh, no.
Well, maybe not.
Oh.
Write to us at barenakedabcs@gmail.com before next week's song, which, what is it, Jeff?
Is it maybe not?
It's maybe not.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
And thank you so much for joining us, Alex.
Yeah, thanks,
It
Alex.
has been a real pleasure.
Oh, no, I had a lot of fun. It was a fun show. It makes me want to go back and re-listen to the album because it's my favorite. It's my favorite Beatles album. That's how much I like it.
I think you need to go back to the show. I think you're. I don't think you're over this yet. I really love it. Yeah. I was really sad when Andy Cregan left the Beatles. Actually, it was. I felt like they never quite regained their strengths after that.
I was gonna make a Pete Best reference, but Andy's better than that. Apologies to Pete Best. Please come on the show. We know you listen. Best of the Beatles.
Thanks, that was fun. Don't forget, no regrets, except maybe one.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.